I don't know, how's your week going?
Pretty good. It's pretty nice weather this week in Iowa. How about
Yeah,
you?
good. So you were at Cambridge, huh? When I was
Sure.
there, which is crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
And what did you do at Cambridge?
So I actually worked there twice. The
Okay.
first time I worked there, I started in their partner support center,
Hmm.
which was their call center, and then I moved up to their knowledge center, which was the employee training team, and I taught like emotional intelligence, customer service, those kinds of things. And then I moved, I was homesick and I missed Cambridge, so we moved back, and I came
Hmm.
back as a compliance trainer.
Hmm.
So I was in compliance when you would have been there. Yeah.
Interesting. Um, so you want to talk about your business and kind of what led you into making that jump to start a business, your own business?
Yeah. So I would say starting back in college. So I went to college in 2006 through 2010. And of course, the
Hmm.
market crash happened then. And
Just great timing,
yeah,
right?
I always have terrific timing, I tell you what.
Correct.
So, during college, I'd be working 2 or 3 jobs. And coming from a small town in Iowa, I'm an Ottumwa native. I've lived here basically my whole life, except for a few years in Fairfield and Des Moines.
Hmm.
And, I stayed and I went to the local college and I picked the best out of what the topics were. So I
Hmm.
started doing computer forensics and
Hmm.
decided that I didn't want to do that. And then I switched to Spanish. And then I got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice, which seems strange. But I was working with juveniles, both in the judicial system that are going through the court system, or that had been separated from their parents because of issues at home or things like that. I worked in both the youth shelter and a drug treatment school type setting.
Hmm.
And I was going to take criminal justice because I wanted to be a juvenile probation officer and help kids get back on the right track.
Hmm.
Um, Being where I'm from, there's not that many positions in that. And I became a jailer. Um, and that was quite the experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Wow. You got any crazy story about that?
Oh, I mean, so many. I mean, I've always just been
That's
kind of like
awesome.
an artsy, creative weirdo.
Yeah.
I'm pretty funny and laid back, so I was probably the world's nicest jailer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling strangers on concrete wasn't really my calling.
Yeah. See,
After about 2.5, 3 years, I'm like, yeah, I think I need to do something else.
hmm.
Also,
Makes
my dad
sense.
hated it. My dad hated
Yeah.
it so much.
Seems like a laborer's job. So.
Yes, just, lots and lots of walking. There'd be like
Mhm.
90 inmates that I'd be walking around and counting and feeding and giving them meds and breaking up fights and all sorts of different
Wow.
things. So that was wild. I met all sorts of people doing that, and I had never heard of Cambridge. I didn't know what it was. You've been there. It's just kind of hidden away in a cornfield. And even,
It is. It is.
yeah, it's literally in a cornfield.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and Tacoma was only about a 25-minute drive away, and I'd never heard of it.
Hmm.
So when I started, I didn't even know what a broker-dealer was. And, now I have my Series 7 and my Series 24.
Hmm.
So I have a good compliance background, and I understand the industry. But what my passion really is creating. And so when I was working at Cambridge, working in a training role, I loved it because, you're always told, oh, you can't make money doing art, which is what I'm challenging right now. Uh, Hoping. Anyway, uh, we'll see. Um, I think a lot of the choices I made in my early career were based out of necessity because, during the market collapse, I'd be working 2 or 3 jobs. I worked at the movie theater. I worked so many places. I have
Hmm.
the world's longest resume, probably. I don't know if you look at all of them.
How many pages is it?
If I I think I stop at like 2015 because it's a lot.
Yeah. If I
Maybe
saw
2013.
a Series 7 jailer, that is the most impressive resume I would have ever laid eyes on. That's just amazing.
Yeah, if you look through my LinkedIn, it's a weird one. Uh, so I loved the training roles and I really enjoyed that. And, I stepped up to make more room for another trainer. And I moved into like supervision and leadership. And, I started thinking, well, I don't know that this is what I enjoy. Maybe I don't want to be corporate. And then I went and joined an advisor's office. Unfortunately, I picked the wrong advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I did not enjoy that. And I'm like, okay, so maybe it's not being corporate that I don't enjoy. Maybe it's not being creative that I don't enjoy. Because as soon as I moved into a leadership role, I was just making decisions, and I wasn't particularly being creative in any way. And I didn't enjoy that. And then I went on to the next job. I'm ready to take the 66, but
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of left that and I decided I'm going to start my own business. And so Peter Patzner was born. So my married name is Allison Patzner. So of course that's a play on word, Peter Patzner. We also love letter K.
I like it.
And I stuck with Creative Studio because, it is hard to make money off art. So I also do business services. So, you have to find what there's a need for and try to provide a service to help people with that. So I've been doing logo design. I also do business writing, content writing, sales writing, all those sorts of things. But, I'm trying to gear more towards art the further I go along in it. I just did a Mother's Day sale where I painted dozens of little pots and put succulents in them, puns, all sorts of things. They were adorable. Sold those out. And now I'm kind of moving into like pet portraits. I'm still doing like logos and stuff, but these pet portraits are a sight to be seen. You should check them out. They're going to come out soon.
do you have a website? What's your main platform? Because I couldn't find one on LinkedIn, so.
Yeah, so I do have a website. I don't use it a lot. I mostly get contacted through Facebook and Instagram. So if you type in Peter Patzner, I should be pretty easy to find. There's not a lot of Patzners. But, I've been working with this group called Integrated Succession. And what they are is they are a business that match buyers and sellers in the financial industry, buying or selling a book, helping them find loans or give loans, that type of thing. So, I'm still using my financial knowledge and, hopefully I will affiliate with some sort of broker dealer here shortly. Obviously, I don't want to lose my licenses. I worked very hard for those.
Those are serious designations.
Yes.
Like, the Series 7 is, because of the options, I think a lot of people could do the 6, but the 7 and with the options, I think very challenging.
Yes.
Because I have it as well. Yeah. I love math, so I was all about it, but it is extremely challenging.
It is. And when I did it, it was still the whole one part. So it was like an endurance test, like how much can you remember?
Yeah.
And then I moved on and took the 24, which was much more like.
What is the 24? Because I'm not. I have the 66, but that's the only other designation I have.
So the 24 is used as both a compliance principle and also if you wanted to be, say, an OSJ supervisor or you wanted to oversee other advisors, you would need a 24 for that. And then I think there's also a license that's like a FINRA 910 and it's like a limited principle. So I could also approve paperwork and accounts and things like that. If I wanted to, I could definitely do that. So that's kind of the difference. I did study for the 66 and that's a lot different. There's a lot more 7 in that.
I failed it twice. I passed home, what is it? Life and accident easily, property and casualty easily. passed the 7 first time, and then I failed 66. It was just so like government regulation
Yeah.
is like awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, those tests are dreadful.
Hmm.
They definitely don't make them to be fun. I don't
Yeah.
know how the 7 is now that it's split into 2 halves, but
Hmm.
maybe a little less terrible, I'm sure. But it's definitely a dry read.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So, what platform, what software do you use to make your logos? What's your go-to?
I'm currently using the Adobe suite. I have the entire cloud. I also have a free one if beginners are interested in trying to teach themselves graphic design, which is exactly what I did when I left that advisor's office in October, is I taught myself graphic design. And I use GIMP. It's just GIMP.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
a
how I
free.
started.
Yeah, so I've just
Yeah.
been teaching myself since October. And again, with my
Me
terrific
too.
timing.
Me too. That's so funny. I literally downloaded Adobe Suite in October and like self-taught myself.
Yeah, we should have been doing it together. We could be study
Yeah,
buddies.
study buddies. You should. Next time you get a designation, let me know. We can get it done.
Right? Yeah, so I'm learning all sorts of things on there still, of course, but I've done
How,
quite a few logos.
how have you been self-teaching yourself this the Adobe products?
So I did watch some of their tutorials to kind of get going, and I did have a Wacom tablet before this.
Hmm.
I currently have a Lenovo Flexbook, so I could draw directly on the screen. What I didn't like about my Wacom like drawing tablet was that I'd have to look up at the computer but be drawing down, like my hand. I wouldn't be looking at it, which is strange when you've been drawing and painting your whole life.
Hmm.
So I didn't enjoy that so much. But what I found really helpful is now for my laptop, I can cast YouTube onto my big screen TV, and I just kind of follow along step by step.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Last week I was super excited because some gal wanted glitter font,
Hmm.
and I watched a video and I learned how to make glitter font. And I can
Yeah.
make everything in glitter now. I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm going to do with that knowledge, but something.
Hey, it'll come back someday.
I'll use it in my pet portraits. I don't know. I did a cat in space last night. He's super
Really? I gotta check the page out. I bet it's great. It's so
cute.
funny.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have that offering up here soon, and then I'm planning on doing like a digital art shop on
Yeah.
Etsy. So there is a demand for, like, everybody's wanting something custom, something special.
Hmm.
So you can go onto Etsy and you can pay to download a print. So you're supporting a small business, and you pay a lower price because you're going to print it and frame it yourself. I'm of course going to print some and sell them here locally, hopefully. Um, but I'm going to see how that goes. There's lots of places you can do it, but I think I'm going to do that on Etsy for now. I will say, being a small business, my great timing, I opened officially on February 14th this year, which was, of course, 2 weeks before, the virus really hit hard.
Uh-huh.
And
Did Iowa lock down?
I mean, not entirely, really, and basically everything got reopened today.
Okay.
It's definitely a big concern because we probably won't reach our peak until, I don't know, June, July. So the cases are increasing, but the restrictions are decreasing. So I'm a little worried about it, to be honest. But
Yeah. So you are the definition of timing, huh? So you
yeah,
graduated post economic collapse and you started a business pre global pandemic, huh?
yeah, I'm just killing it over here. But I will tell you, the support I've received from my community and other small businesses during this time is tremendous. It is super great. And if I have a friend and I love their service, or I use something local, I always try to keep our money in our community.
It's important. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can do it locally, you should do that, because small businesses have big hearts, and that's kind of the life of your town, especially in a smaller place like Ottumwa, Iowa. you know, if we weren't to have any small businesses, who's going to support those softball teams
Mm-hmm.
and all those types of things. But, you know, I've been getting lots of love. I've been giving lots of love, sharing, liking, posting. I've got, you know, a lot of purchases, which is super sweet. And, you know, I think the hardest thing, and that probably kept me from opening sooner, this kind of business, was I thought that not only could I not make money doing art, like sharing your art is scary, I
It
guess
is. It
is the
is.
word.
It
Like,
is.
it's like a piece of myself, and I'm like, well, what if people hate it? But then I realized, who cares?
Mm-hmm. I realized. I realized if you actually like what you're doing, you're gonna post it no matter what. And then I think you get over that hurdle because, I mean, I run a finance business. Like I run a book, and like it's nobody likes financial advisors, right? And it's honestly in a way there's a lot of negative stigma to like young financial advisors, and like I don't care. Like I I love like money and teaching people about money. So I just do it anyway. I know it's kind of in a sense like I don't know, just there's definitely a negative stigma to it, but I don't care. Like I love, and I think
Exactly.
once you find that passion out and you kind of like figure out how to incorporate art to it, you're gonna post it no matter what. So that's the important thing to do is just post it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of dip my toes in a little bit. I'm like, well, I'm just going to start with business services. Like, if people don't like their logos, I'll just keep changing it until they like it.
Yeah.
Then I got a little braver, and then I did some succulents, and now I'm going to actually post my art. So, you know,
That's
that's a big
awesome.
step. That's a big
That's awesome.
step. It's very weird. I hope people love it. um, I don't know. It's just a big change. And I noticed that, you know, I wasn't loving what I was doing when I wasn't being creative. And I felt sick, like just physically ill. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was tired and, you know, just
There's no
felt gross.
motivation. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very just, you spend 40 plus hours a week working. I was probably spending more like 60. So a majority of my waking hours, I was spending doing something that I did not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, and I'm paraphrasing Tony Robbins here, is, you know, you don't change until the pain of staying the same is more than changing.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, well, I better change.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this. This is not sustainable. Like I was getting anxiety and it was just bad.
That's awesome
And
that you're smart enough to understand that that was the core, like the cause of your problems, and you rectified it. You know, that's so awesome because I feel most people just stick to it. You know.
yeah, I mean, like my grandpa, he was a welder and he was a fantastic man. He hated welding, but he welded his entire
He
adult life.
welded his heart away.
Yeah, he worked at John Deere and he welded for decades and
Wow.
decades. And I mean, and that's the pension era. And, you know, that pension took care of my grandma long after he was gone. But, you know, he retired and he died like a year or two later
Mm-hmm.
because he spent his whole life doing something he hates.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just awful. And I realized that, you know, I'm lucky that I'm in a situation where I'm able to try new things and do something brave like this. I know not everybody can just quit their job and try to do that. So I'm lucky that, you know, we have the money saved up and I have a very supportive husband and family. But, you know, I hope that people that are in a spot where they're working and they're not enjoying it, that they start thinking, well, what can I do to change this? Because it might not just be as quickly as I did. Like, I quit, I'm going to go do this now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, a lot of people think in this or that thinking when really you should be thinking in ors. So it's not, do I want to go to that party or not? It could be, do I want to go to that party or do I want to stay home? Or do I want to go see a concert? Like everything's just very limited thinking if you're a very black and white person, but there's always tons of options.
Mm-hmm. Always. It's important to see just you gotta lay out your options and see what's viable and not. And
Mhm.
you kind of said, if people didn't like your logos, you do something else. Like it's important
Mhm.
to just continue to adapt to your
Yeah.
options and what's presented to you. And I feel like once you get into owning a business, it's
Mhm.
just you continually learn how to present and just I don't know, you just formulate better. Like I don't know, everything just
Yes.
becomes you just keep it's like compound interest. You just build on top of momentum. You figure it out better quickly, and it's just
Mhm.
and it's more fulfilling too because you do it on your own time. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, where do you kind of see your business going from here on out?
I would love to get to a point where I could expand and maybe add a person to my team. Right now, it's just myself and my cats. So, maybe another person. That is definitely one thing that I miss about, working in
Yeah.
bigger places that, I had so many friends and, meetings and things to make the day go by quicker. So, there's a little bit of a trade-off. Obviously I still talk to people, but it's mostly online. People don't really talk on the phone anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, I talk to my customers online, but, mostly I don't. It's just different, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
The grass is always greener,
yeah. And
It's
now that
just
I'm over here, I'm
trade-offs.
like, maybe I can do both. Like, maybe I can work part-time and do this.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's been better lately just because my husband's been home because of the virus. But, he's going to go back to work. Then it's going to be just me and the cats again.
Hey, at least they don't. Well, I guess they could steal your food, but at least they don't. How many cats do you have?
I have two. They're both like Siamese. Well, I don't really know. They're definitely part Siamese. One's part tortoise shell, so she
What
kind of
does
looks like,
that mean? Tortoise shell.
yeah. So like the tortoise shell cats, they have like all the colors on their back,
Oh, okay, okay,
and then
yeah.
Siamese have like the blue eyes. She kind of looks like she got acid washed,
Oh,
like she's
wow.
splotchy. And then my other one's like part ragdoll, part Siamese.
There you
The thing
go.
about Siamese cats is they're very vocal. I'm
Really?
surprised Juno hasn't been in here yelling at you. She hates when I get on the phone. She usually perches on my shoulder here. I
Yeah.
did a video interview a few weeks ago, and she was standing on my shoulder
There you go.
yelling. Yeah.
So, what type of what's kind of your marketing tactic for your business? What have you been doing? Just posting or like what's your strategy?
So, I've just kind of been throwing a bunch of stuff out and seeing what sticks.
Yeah,
To
that's
be
how
honest.
you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried doing like the Facebook ad boosts. It didn't really work for me. Maybe I did it wrong. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just kind of like I look at my numbers, I look at my analytics, but I don't like obsess about them. And I notice that the more personal I make a message, the better it does. So, showing what I'm doing, including myself in it, telling my customers a little bit about me, not just my products, but who I am as a person, or show them a picture of my cats or a project I made. Those posts do so much better when it's like, hey, look at all these great succulents I made. Here's me making them. Here's my paint hands. I got paint everywhere. I've been trying to I follow a lot of small businesses on Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook, which helps then they follow you back. So then people that follow them see you. And then, adding my friends, and as people buy things, people, if they enjoy it, of course, make posts. They'll make a post of, let's say, a succulent that I sold, and I did hand illustrated cards that I gave out with them. And it's those personal touches, and they would take pictures and they would tag me or my business, and then other people would see it, and then all of a sudden my page is getting more likes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of just growing organically. I'm sure there's other ways I could do that, And I do try to read up on marketing and all of that, and my emails getting spammed with, do these things and fill in the blanks and all of that. And I'm like, I just want to make art, man. Uh, but I probably should figure that out, I guess. But I mean, trial and error.
Correct. What, any words of advice to anybody, just because I feel like I try to leave off, as we wrap it up, I try to kind of make my guest say just words of advice for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. If you're afraid, it's worth doing. Do it. Try it. Because I can tell you that the longer you wait, and if you don't try it, you're going to regret it, or you're going to be wondering what if, and it's never as bad as we make it in our heads. So, maybe if you want to leave the job you're at now, you can start making steps towards what you want to do. Do it on the side and build it up. But, just bravery, 30 seconds of bravery. I think that's from We Bought a Zoo or something.
Beautiful. Anything that you want to just talk about your business, just in general, or as we wrap up?
See, I mean, I've founded my business, and you'll see on my page, my profile picture is a typewriter, and around it, it says small business partner. And I went with Patzner Creative Studio because I didn't want to be limiting. I didn't want to say, I'm only going to do business. I'm only going to do art. I'm only going to do writing. Like, I want to do whatever makes me happy. And I want to give people what they need. And I want to be here to help the small businesses around me. So that was my goal.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on. That was great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.